Hi, and welcome to the Positive Prepper. I want to introduce myself and why I'm here doing yet another prepper series on YouTube. I'm a wife, a mother, and a grandmother. I am a Christian. I love God, freedom, and my country. I believe in the Constitution, free speech, and the right and obligation to defend all of those. And so, myself and other preppers out here are trying to help you get prepared for any situation that you might face. These can be natural events like tornadoes, hurricanes, blizzards. They can also be man-made events, stock market crash, civil unrest, economic depression, full-scale war, etc. We might be on the path right now to a socialist environment, and it's going to be really hard for those of you who are not prepared to make it through any of that unscathed. Okay? So my goal on this YouTube journey with you is just to join those other voices doing prepper videos and just helping you become prepared. I'm going to start this. This is my premiere video. I'm going to start with just basically what prepping is. And I know that sounds really, basic, but it is. You need to understand what prepping actually is. So it's about being situationally aware and being prepared for what might happen. Okay. Almost everything that you need to start prepping for has to include a power down or grid down situation. So any prepping that you start or continue doing needs to be done with not having power in the back of your mind. So, for example, how are you going to heat your home? How are you going to cook your food? How are you going to communicate with other people? How are you going to find out what's going on out there? Okay, these are all things that you need to keep in mind when you think about prepping. Okay, prepping is also about stocking up, slimming down, and getting a 360-degree view of your environment. So what does that mean? Well, stocking up is just that. It's stocking up on your food, water, defense, first aid, toiletries, etc. Having 2 cans of extra corn in your pantry is not prepping. Okay. If you went and bought out Walmart's toilet paper last March, that's hoarding. That's not prepping. Okay, prepping is stocking up on the things that you need to survive what preppers call an SHTF event. Okay, slimming down means getting back to basics. So letting go as much of the electronics and the gadgets. I'm saying that as I'm talking to you through YouTube, but it's going without as much of that as you can. You've got to learn how to live again with just your basic, your heat, your food, your water, and your shelter. If the power grid goes down, that's all you're going to have. And you're going to have to be able to survive in that. You're going to have to be able to cook in that, get fresh water in that. How are you going to keep your clothes clean? How are you going to communicate with other people without all the electronics? So it's getting back to those basics. So getting a 360-degree view of your environment is just that. It's seeing the environment and understanding where you have the gaps, so that you know where to focus your prepping. And what I want you to keep in mind too is that it's not just your your living space that you're in, right? You know, we have our space, but then we have this space outside of where we live. And then we have our community space. And then we have our state space. And then we have our country space. And then we have our global space, right? So you need to be able to have a 360-degree view on what's going on. It doesn't mean being consumed by it. It doesn't mean, you know, watching the news 24/7 and popping Xanax and drinking whiskey because you're so depressed about it. It's just about, just pay attention to it. Have a balance between paying attention to it and prepping and living your life not in fear, right? Um, I my faith is in God. But God never said that we weren't going to have to go through some stuff. So I can have that faith in God, but I'm also going to be aware of what's going on and prepare for whatever any of those spaces bring to me. Okay. So that's kind of the basics of what prepping is and why it's really important. And especially for new preppers, as I said, we've been prepping for 8 years, but we still watch prepper videos. We still learn from it. You know, we're doing it, we're experiencing it, we're building on our skills. We want to present that to you, especially to new preppers. I am going to try to put out about 2 or 3 videos a week. Most of those videos are going to be about prepping, positive prepping, and they're gonna, but some are gonna include like real current events, not the type like, you know, oh, I heard this was happening, and you know, because we've seen a lot of months of that. I'm gonna talk the real current events. And I'm going to try to do this in a way that's not all gloom and doom and, you know, oh my gosh, I don't want to fear monger and get everybody worked up in a panic. But we need to be real about what's going on out there. We need to keep that faith in God, but we need to stay prepared. And so I will be talking about some of the current events, but there's always a positive or a bright side to everything. You know, if you have the love of God, the love of family, the love of your friends, you're not alone in this. You have other people that can help get you through any situation that might come at you. And so that's a really important part about prepping, is just keeping that positive, keeping the awareness, and keeping the faith. So if you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section below. I would especially love it if you could hit that notification bell and subscribe to my channel. Let's get those numbers up. And my next video, which will come out probably Monday or Tuesday of next week, is going to be about, and this is especially again for new preppers, the mistakes that new preppers make, some absolute do's and some absolute don'ts. But if you have any questions or comments, or if something is affecting you right now that might not be affecting me or other preppers, please don't hesitate to leave that in the comments section below, and I will do everything I can to answer that question for you, or direct you to someone who I know knows a lot about it. All right? You guys take care. God bless, and thanks for watching The Positive Prepper.